Barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is another online class. Our topic today is Meiosis II, which is also under reproduction as a function of cell. We've discussed the meaning of meiosis when we are talking about the Meiosis I. That meiosis is a nuclear or cell division in which the daughter nuclei produced contain half number of chromosome characteristic as the parent cell. Now we are going to discuss the stages that are involved in the Meiosis II. The first one to discuss is the Prophase I. In the Prophase I, chromosomes become distinct in the two nuclei. The spindle fibers also are formed. Then the nuclear membrane also is visible. These are the spindle fibers that are formed. These are the chromosomes that have become more distinct or that have become more visible. Then this is nuclear membrane that is visible. Now let us move down to the second stage of Meiosis II, which is Metaphase II. In the Metaphase II, nuclear membrane gets dissolved in the cytoplasm. There is no nuclear membrane in this. These are the spindle fibers, not nuclear membrane. The nuclear membrane is not here. It is nuclear membrane that have get dissolved in the cytoplasm in the Metaphase II. Then the chromosomes are attached to the spindle by the centromeres. These are the chromosomes. They are get attached to this spindle by this centromere. Then the two sister chromatids of the chromosome become more distinct. That is, they become more visible. These are the sister chromatids. If you look at this, there is no nucleolus also in this cell. Now let us look at the next stage, which is Anaphase II. In the Anaphase II, the chromosome get attached at the centromere. That is, chromosomes are attached together by the centromeres. Then the chromosomes separate and move to the poles or end of the cell by the shortening of the spindle fibers. As these spindle fibers become shortening, the sister chromatid or chromosome move to the end of the cells or move to the pole. Now let us look at the last stage, which is Tetraphase II. At the Tetraphase II, the chromatids arrive at the end of the cells. That is, the chromatid arrive at the end, at the poles of the cell. And when the chromatids have arrived at the end of the cell will start dividing. The cell will start dividing like this. Then the nuclear membrane are formed round the daughter cells produced. That is, the nuclear membranes are formed round the four daughter cells produced. I told you that at the end of the mitotic cell division, two daughter cells are produced, but at the end of this meiosis cell division, four daughter cells are produced. Now the third one is that a nucleus appears in each cell. Then these are the nucleus, this is another nucleus, this is another nucleus, this is another nucleus. They appear at the end of each cell. Then the spindle fibers disappear in the cytoplasm. That is, the spindle fiber get dissolved in the cytoplasm. There is no spindle fiber in this. This is nuclear membrane, not spindle fiber. This is nuclear membrane. This is cell membrane. Then 4 haploid cells are formed at the end of the second meiotic cell division. At the end of the mitotic cell division, 2 daughter cells are formed, but at the end of the meiotic cell division, 4 daughter cells are formed. That is 4 haploid cells are formed. Now the last process is that each cell has half the number of chromosomes characteristic of the parent cell. Each cell has half the number of chromosome characteristics of the parent cell, hence called haploid cell. The haploid cell is represented by N, while the diploid cell that are formed at the end of the mitosis is represented by 2N. Diploid cell is represented by 2N, while haploid cell is represented by N. Now let us discuss the differences and similarity between mitosis and meiosis again. It is repetition. Now, mitosis take place in the somatic or body cells. Example of body or somatic cells is skin, heart, liver, etc. While meiosis take place in the reproductive sex. Example of reproductive cell is gamete. Therefore, you can even say that meiosis take place in the gametes or sex cells or reproductive cells or germ cells, GERM cells. The second one is that there is no pairing of chromosomes in the mitosis, whereas there is pairing of homologous chromosomes in the meiosis. There is no pairing of chromosomes in the mitosis, whereas there is pairing of homologous chromosomes in the meiosis. Another difference between them is that only one nuclear division occurs in the mitosis, while 2 nuclear division occur in the meiosis. In the mitosis also, no chiasma occur, whereas in the meiosis, chiasma occurs. In the mitosis, there is no exchange of genes. In the meiosis, there is exchange of genes. I told you that it is chiasma that link 2 homologous chromosomes together that enhances the exchange of genes. Therefore, there is no exchange of genes in the mitosis, since there is no chiasma in the mitosis to enhance the exchange of genes. The next one is that daughter cell contain the same number of chromosomes as parent cell in the mitosis, whereas in the meiosis, daughter cells contain half the number of chromosomes as the parent cell. And in the mitosis also, daughter cells are identical to the parent cell, whereas in the meiosis, variation occurs in the daughter cell. The last one is that in the mitosis, there is no crossing over, whereas there is crossing over in the meiosis. There is crossing over in the meiosis. Let us look at the similarities between mitosis and meiosis again. 1. Interphase is the same in mitosis and first meiosis cell division. 2. Centroles divide in both mitosis and meiosis at interphase. That is, this centrole will divide and move to each of the pole of the cell, each of the poles of the cell, or move to each pole of the cell. Then the doubling of chromosome take place in the interphase stage in both mitosis and meiosis. Nuclear membrane dissolve at prophase in both mitosis and meiosis. Then the fourth one is that the spindle fiber is laid down in the cytoplasm by the centroles, which divide at interphase. Then 5. Both mitosis and meiosis form new cells from pre-existing cells. Now let us look at the life processes involving meiosis. The first one is the formation of eggs in the females. The second one is the formation of spermatozoas in males. The third one is the formation of ovules in the flowering plant, while the last one is the formation of pollen grains in the flowering plants also. The ovules are the female reproductive parts of the flowering plant, while the pollen grains are the male reproductive part of the flowering plant. Now let us look at the importance of meiosis. The first one is that meiosis brings about the reduction of chromosome to have the original number in both male and female gametes. Meiosis bring about the reduction of chromosome to have the original number both in the male and the female gametes. That is the first importance of meiosis. It is it that ensures that the fertilized egg has a diploid number of cells. That is, the meiosis ensure that the fertilized egg has a diploid number of chromosomes. 2. Random assortment of genes during meiosis leads to genetic variation among the offspring of the same parent, or among the offspring of the same species. Random assortment of genes during meiosis lead to genetic variation among the offspring of the same parent or the same species. Random assortment means random combination, random mixture, random combination of genes during meiosis lead to genetic variation. The next one is that meiosis can lead to a marked gene change, that is mutation, which can also bring about variation among individuals of the same species or parent. Mutation. What do you mean by mutation? Mutation is the sudden change in the number of chromosomes in the nucleus of a cell. Or you can say that mutation is the sudden change in the arrangement of genes or DNA molecules in the nucleus of a cell. Then variation. It is said that meiosis also leads to variation. Meiosis leads to variation. The meaning of variation is that variation is the natural observed differences between the living organism of the same species. Is the natural observed differences between the living organism of the same species or parent. Listen again. Variation is the natural observed differences between the living organism of the same species or parent. That's that about the meiosis 1 and 2. That's that about the meiosis. Now for your assignment, make sure that you check assignment portal. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.